Hi, I'm David Penn, research analyst with Finovate. We're here at Finovate Europe 2022 in London, and joining me is Dorel Blitz. He is with Personetics, the Vice President of Strategy and Business Development. We're going to talk a little bit about the work that he does, the work that Personetics does, and some of the things that are going on when it comes to financial data personalization. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So maybe to start, you can tell us just a little bit about yourself and the work you do with Personetics.
So I'm VP Strategy, Business Development at Personetics. I'm with the company 4 years.
Okay.
Personetics is a big, global fintech company, around 330 employees, 10 global offices, raised over $300 million in the last couple of years. We are being perceived as the global category leader in the space of financial data-driven personalization and customer engagement. Basically, our platform is really all about helping banks to leverage their biggest assets, their own customers' financial transactional data, in order to quickly drive a significant business impact and market differentiation. So we are helping banks to finally become this real-time trusted advisor, if you will, with customers, improving customers' financial wellness, and also helping banks to efficiently better sell and service.
Absolutely. Very interesting area that's going on, dealing with data and really helping banks get access to this and really use it properly. So many different things going on with open banking. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. Where would you say the biggest demand for financial data-driven personalization is coming from? Who's the ones who are really taking advantage of that technology?
So I think are really the top tier banks, because what we are seeing today is that the battleground in finance is really around financial data-driven engagement, because all the banks are selling the same product at the same price. There is no really difference around that, right? And it's the same UI, UX, and everybody are doing the same process automation, moving from 8 clicks long to 2 clicks long. So the only way for banks to increase customers' lifetime value, basically to increase their ability to proactively and smartly engage with customers and to efficiently better sell, is coming from the ability to know their customers, to really understand how their customers are dealing with their money, to provide a holistic, financial data-driven analysis of their customers' behavior, right? And to combine different sources of data within the bank or outside of the bank, retirement, lending, your trading data, and the ability to get closer, to increase customers' engagement, to move from a reactive approach into a smart, proactive, financial data-driven approach. I think that's what we are seeing happening, and it comes from the incumbent banks. They are looking on the competition, they are looking on customer expectations, they are looking on the social contract, what customers are actually want. And customers, they want their bank to become, much more smart and proactive. Basically, customers, they want to move from a FOMO, fear of missing out, into JOMO, joy of missing out, where basically they can sit back and relax, and the banks can become this, trusted advisor. So it's all about, very similar to self-driving cars. We at Personetics, we are calling that self-driving finance. The ability of banks to move through the same 5 steps, and the ability of banks to proactively even think and act on behalf of their customers. So instead of just thinking about what should I do with my money, how much should I save, how much should I invest, and basically all the burden is on the customers today, retail or small business or wealth, it doesn't matter. We are seeing how banks are taking a much stronger, approach, proactive approach, and actually trying to be there for their customers and proactively even think and act for them. And I think this is really compelling globally. As Personetics, we are active with over 80 banks in 30 markets all over the world. We are actually touching 120 million end customers. So that's a lot. And we are seeing in 30 markets how all the banks are heading into the same vision, proactive engagement, moving the burden, providing a seamless, frictionless interaction where customers can sit back and relax.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think one of the things that I want to talk a little bit more about some of the technology and performance metrics too, but just hearing you talk about it reminds me a little bit of the keynote this morning. I don't know if you caught it, where the gentleman talking made a really interesting point, whereas I'm sort of abstracting from what he said, but in a lot of ways, the best technology both takes us forward and brings back some of the things that we enjoy the most. You think about a community bank where the banker knows you, they know your family, so they don't have to ask you a whole lot of questions. They know you, and they're able to do certain sorts of things. They know how you act, they know where you work, they know this, and they're able to do certain things for you to sort of help you out. And it seems like a lot of things I'm hearing from you in terms of the technology that Personetics provides is similar to that, only taking it further into the future with being much more proactive even than that community bank.
You are so right. You are so right. That's exactly. We want to create, we are looking on the market, and I'm in this business for 15 years. I've been a banker, I've been a consultant, I've been in so many places. Basically, it's exactly what you're saying. Taking back what banks used to be. 100 years ago, where my father or my grandfather or whatever, they went into the branch, there was no technology. They just looked each other with the banker asked them some questions, and he can do everything for them. And this kind of relationship at the deepest level, the most intimate level, and the ability to drive the engagement and the ability to trust and to see that there is something there which is not just a virtual safe deposit. There is actually, human being or technology or hybrid model that is taking care of the customer, looking out for the customer. And you're completely right. That's exactly the combination of going forward, moving back into this personalized journey, but it's really about the trust, the engagement, and from the bank's perspective, it's the efficiency of selling. Because we are not going to change the products or the services or the pricing. It's still the same, but it's the ability to drive the highest level of engagement and trust to increase the receptiveness or the likelihood that at the right time, at the right channel, through a personalized journey, the bank will be able to better sell and service, or even to do that in behalf of the customer.
Right, yeah, it's actually a very, very exciting area. Let's talk a little bit about some of the performance outcomes. For companies that do embrace this sort of thing, what are the things they can expect in terms of things like customer engagement, in terms of account growth, some of those bottom lines that banks are going to say, okay, I do this, I make this commitment, what happens to me, what do I get back out of it?
Great, so that's exactly what we do. We are really focusing as a company on business impact metrics, and we are able to perform that in 6-8 months after rollout. And that's what we've done globally. We're actually going to present on stage tomorrow the work that we've done with Santander UK. So the My Money Manager, the Bank of Santander, all of those kind of things that you are seeing, that's what we do. It's the ability to increase customer engagement by 35%, NPS score, account and balance growth by 15%, increasing conversion rate. That's the holy grail today, conversion rate. We are reaching 17% conversion rate. What banks are doing today with their marketing analytics systems, the next best action, next best offer, which is completely generic, it's not financial data driven, it's not personalized, it's reaching maybe 2.5, 3.5%.
Wow.
So the ability to reach 6 times higher conversion rate, to touch the customers 20 times a month, every time they're logging in. It's not just selling and servicing, it's actually providing advice, insights to the customers, and then finding the right moment of truth to drive this personalized product-based advice and guidance, or even a set of automated self-adjustable wellness programs.
Right. That's a really interesting point that you made about in terms of the difference in adoption rates between what a lot of banks have been doing, the 2.7%, and then the 7-8%, which you're starting to see in terms of people not just getting advice that is tailored to them, and that's definitely tailored to them, but then getting them to believe that that's the advice that they should take, just like anybody else gives you advice, but do you actually take the advice? And are you seeing is that number going in the right direction as far as you're concerned, in terms of people taking that advice more and more?
Definitely. Yes, we are seeing that it's a very psychological thing.
Yeah.
You cannot just throw on your customers a lot of advice and think that it's going to fly. Right. You need to drive a consistent, personalized journey. Right. You need to do that at a scale. You need to touch the customers. You need to get their reaction in real time, and with the self-learning mechanisms and relevancy and appearance and dependency models, AI models, you need to engage with your customers in real time, day by day. Every time you're logging in, or through push notification, or through your banker or financial advisor, we're able to drive always on personalized engagement with relevant content. And the ability to drive that through a journey, and then to, at the right time, at the right issue, to provide a product-based advice. That's how we are getting to these numbers.
Right. One of the things we talked a little bit at the beginning was the idea of open banking and how that really helps sort of open the door for a lot of the things that Personetics does. Could you talk a little bit about that intersection between open banking and financial data-driven personalization?
Definitely. I think that's maybe one of the biggest use case for that, because open banking, most of the cases right now, the use cases are very narrow. They're looking on onboarding, credit decisioning systems.
Yes.
But the problem is how to encourage a customer, to incentivize the customer to actually connect his bank account. And outside of the UK, there is like a 3-month consent process that you need to get from the customers. They need to approve every 3 months. How do you do that exactly? Right. And what we are seeing today with open banking or / open finance even is the ability to combine these different data sources to provide customers in real time, right after they are connecting their external data within a very seamless process, real time analysis of their finance, real-time insights, real-time product-based advice, and then the ability to even move money for them. One of the great examples that we've done with open banking was with Ally Bank from the US. It's a Detroit-based digital bank, one of the largest ones, by the way, in the US. And we've implemented there an automated savings program, including open banking, which means that actually customers in 2 clicks can connecting their external bank accounts, and our analytical models of Personetics are able to identify safe to save money within external bank accounts. And when we think the time is right, we are able to move variable amounts of money into the Ally Bank higher yield saving account. Now this is beauty because the customer doesn't need to set up goals or threshold or time limit. Completely automated, self-adjustable, always looking out for the customers. We'll never go into overdraft because we are using cash flow predictions and other models. So it's a win-win. The bank is getting customers. The bank is getting much more, assets within the bank. Customers are saying that the bank is looking out for them, helping them to automatically save or whatever, cut a debt or invest. It's the same mechanism for the future. And this is a great usage of open banking, external data source, moving money. Customers don't need to do anything. Now, if you are looking on the digital banks today, they are not doing that. They are doing a very basic buckets. You need to define, it's budgets, it's not really automated, it's not self-adjustable. So the ability to combine different sources, even from your other bank accounts, even your wife, or your other accounts, and to do all of that, that's a great use case. And of course, we're also looking on affordability and lending propositions and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point about that. We see a lot of very interesting technologies, some of them with some very beautiful user experience and so forth, but in a sense, I know when I first got married, my wife and I did the envelopes, right? You put the money in the envelopes, and it's a good way of doing things, efficient, but it's similar to just, again, buckets, and it's still a lot of decision making and a lot of choosing and so forth, and a lot of times that can be the thing that can maybe bog a person down with, I can't figure it out, I don't know how much to put here, I don't know when to do this. To have somebody to be able to do that for them is a completely different evolution from that.
It's the whole idea. This is the self-driving finance, to take the burden from you and from your wife in these envelopes. It's completely automated, and the ability to create virtual envelopes on the same one product of the bank. So think about, from the bank perspective, it's only one product, one deposit, one saving program. But I'm able, with my platform, to create a virtual ledgers, and you can create different, if you want, different envelopes, different goals, and I'm able even to completely split them into different envelopes with my decision system. So again, all the burden is on the technology, on the bank, not on you.
Right. Very, very interesting. One of the things I'm curious about is this the kind of thing that does not happen without an innovator like Personetics? I mean, could banks and fintechs be doing this on their own, or is this something that you really do need somebody to specialize in this to bring to them?
Honestly, David, there are over 30,000 banks out there. I know about only one bank maybe that keep trying to do that by themselves. But the question is much more bigger. I don't think that banks are an IT company with a banking license. That's it. I think that banks, exactly as they are going and buying compliance and risk management system, as they are going and buying front-end solution or a core banking system, it's the same thing in our space.
And again, taking the burden off of the banks from trying to do that as well.
Correct. That's not their job. Banks are selling trust, they are managing risk. That's it.
Excellent. One thing, just sort of maybe to wrap up, where do you see some of the biggest opportunities that maybe haven't been tapped into yet with regard to financial data personalization?
Definitely small business. I think it's this is the ugly stepsister. Let's be honest about it. And for so many years, everybody speaks about it, but they're not really doing too much about it. Even here in the UK, HSBC Kinetic, it's nice, but it's not really there yet. And I think that, small business, definitely there's a lot of place to grow with cloud accounting software data, with open banking data, to ability to really drive a much better use cases for the small business owners. Not everything needs to be very basic. It can be much more broad than helping them with cash flow management, with invoices. There's so much around that. So that's one area. Second thing is wealth management. Definitely hybrid model. Think about the wealth management customers today. They don't just want a financial advisor. What about hybrid model? What about their own personalized digital, advice? And the last one, maybe I would say, is around, from at least from my perspective, is the ability to get much more deeper into credit decisioning systems. This is the backbone of banks, credit decisioning systems right now. And I'm telling you that as an ex-banker and consultant, there is much more can be done there by getting much more deeper into financial data, to analyze that, to understand customers' financial behavior, and use that, not to replace, to use that as another decision support system into the credit decisioning within the bank.
Yeah, those are two excellent areas. I mean, definitely with regard to wealth management and to helping people out, but certainly with small business, I think it's one of those things that everybody sort of loves them, but nobody really appreciates them, really takes care of them.
Exactly.
And the idea, you think of the complexity of that they're involved in, and have somebody to really stick up for them is a really, really interesting thing. So I definitely can appreciate that. Well, fascinating conversation. Really appreciate getting a chance to talk to you. Personetics is a company we've known a long time here at Finovate, and it's really great to sort of sit down and really go through some of the ways that Personetics is helping, again, banks, individuals, and small businesses.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. And thank you for joining us as well.